Okay, so in our class, we learn multiplication in a very basic way, but it helps us kind of see things in a way that helps organize our thoughts a little differently. So if we have a basic problem like 3 times 4 equals 12, we look at it as 3 and 4 working together in groups. So this really says 3 groups of 4. My kids are very good at knowing that the x in a multiplication problem means groups of. That helps us visualize what we're really talking about when we look at groups of instead of just saying times, because a lot of times times can be confusing. So here we are looking at 3 groups of 4. So basically I have 1, 2, 3 circles, and inside each circle I have 4 things. This helps us then practice counting by the number that we're going. So this is 4, another 4 would be 8, another 4 would be 12. So we look at that and we can say 3 times 4 equals 12 because 3 groups of 4 is 12. That's a really simple way to kind of break down multiplication. It's also a reason why when we look at 3 times 4 equals 12, we don't just talk about how can I say 3 times 4 and 4 times 3 are the same. We can't just look at that and say, well, I get the same answer, so it's the same problem. Because 3 times 4 is really 3 groups of 4. Whereas 4 times 3 is really 4 groups with 3 in each. Now it seems like it doesn't really matter because you get the same answer both ways. Both ways it equals 12. But it does kind of show us a different way of looking at what is multiplication, because it shows us a much more visual way rather than just making it a memorization thing. Last thing that I want to talk about with this is if we look at division. So we're going to be talking about division a lot more now in these next coming weeks. But if we have 20 divided by 4 equals an unknown number, really all we're going to be looking at is how many times can I take this 4 and count by it until I get to 20. So if I look, I say 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, then I can see that I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so my answer is 5. It's a really simple way for us to be able to look at multiplication and division as being very similar to each other. Really, we don't have to do anything different when we divide. Okay, last thing I want to show you is a strategy that I use with my students called a T-chart. In a T-chart, we take a number that we're going to be multiplying by. So let's say we're going to be doing 4s. I put an X here and a 4 up top. This tells me that I'm doing times 4. Then on the side I'm going to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I would keep going all the way to 10. I'm running out of room here on my board, but I'd go all the way to 10. So then on the other side I'm going to write my 4's count bys. So I'm going to draw out a line and I'm going to say 4. Then I'm going to do it again and I'm going to say 8, 12, 16, and you have to count by them the first time, so it might take 16 and then go 17, 18, 19, 20, and keep going with this all the way up through 10. Now again, I only have enough room for 7 here, but if I make a T-chart like this, I can use this chart for the whole rest of the homework or quiz or test that I'm taking. If I construct this, it lets me see all my choices. So then if I'm looking at a problem and it says 6 times 4, Well, if I see 6 times 4, I can just go down here to 6 and say, oh, it's 24. Now, a lot of times people might think that looks like it's cheating, but it's really not cheating. It's just going and finding the answer. Okay? You've already found the answer. You don't need to find it again. If you have any questions, let me know, but this was just a simple way for us to look at multiplication and division.